So I mentioned this one a week or so ago here on the channel because it was one of the first projects that was taking the 5th edition SRD that's been placed in the wild by Wizards of the Coast and blending it with their own system to create a unique upcoming rule set. Now, this is coming from Cubicle 7, the company behind the Warhammer RPG, and the game is called Broken Weave. Now, I'm recording this at 11:14 a.m. Central Time on February 9th, 2023, and the Kickstarter is already off and going well. It's already raised $45,000 out of an initial $10,732. I think it was originally in pounds, but I converted it to dollars because it's based out of Dublin, Ireland. But it's already successful, fully funded in 1 hour apparently, and it is onwards and upwards with this particular game. Now, when I previously reported on this, it hadn't yet launched its Kickstarter. It was just an article that I found interesting. But now that the Kickstarter is open, I figured we might go through the Kickstarter, take a look at it. There's a description over here as well over at comicbook.com, which has a greater breakdown on everything about the game, which we may take a look at that here in a minute. I'll definitely be at least including that link in the description text below so that you guys can read through at your leisure, find out more about the world and everything else. But in the meantime, let's just go through the Kickstarter here for Broken Weave because I want to find out more about this world and I want to see what they've pitched to the public to see. In any case, it's an upcoming TTRPG that you might be interested in. So if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update as I continue to report on all things TTRPG here on my channel. Don't forget to check out all the other playlists here on the channel. We do way more than just tabletop stuff. We do reviews of books and shows and TV shows and other games and CRPGs and RPGs and fun stuff. Anyway, let's dive in. So, the story, magic is broken and the gods are dead. It says from the award-winning team that brought you Doctors and Daleks, Adventures in Middle-earth, and Uncharted Journeys comes Broken Weave, a brand new post-apocalyptic tragic fantasy setting for 5th edition. The weave unravels, the gods are dead, the lands are shattered, and the world has begun to forget what it once was. Time and distance have lost their meaning, and the knowledge of how things once were crumbles like ash. Those who remain struggle to survive in a shattered world overcome by decay, an entropic force which eats at our memories, reshapes the world, and twists people into nightmarish abominations. But all is not lost. Hope survives despite the odds. Community, love, and trust in one another can remake the world. Walking the old forgotten paths gives them permanence. Fractured artifacts from the time before sparked memories of once was, and communities gather to create new ways of life. Inspired by the likes of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Colossus, Annihilation, and the Dark Tower series, Broken Weave is a tragic fantasy setting where hope and community are the only path to creating something new. Back now to become something. So, okay, so there's exploration world. Okay. So there's different tiers that they're suggesting. I'm a player, back at the veteran tier. I'm a GM, back at the Haven Leader tier. I'm a collector, back at the all-in tier. So they've got various tiers. They have a behind the screens video. How long is the video, and do we want to watch it here? It's 3 minutes. Where are we at in my video? 3.5 minutes. We could listen to this. Let's give this a listen.
Imagine a vibrant fantasy world. Swords and sorcery, intrigue and ancient magic, lute-strumming bards sing the legends of brave knaves and ignoble knights. Dwarves and elves put aside millennia of enmity to thwart the evil schemes of a dark lord. All the worlds we know and love.
Now imagine that world breaking. Adventure and storytelling giving way to numb terror. Vibrant, life-filled lands sundered. Societies unravel as gods die. The laws of nature and physics bend and warp.
That part of it sounds interesting to me in the sense that as the gods die and magic breaks and all this stuff starts to become unraveled, that part of it sounds very interesting to me, for sure.
Weave of magic is broken. Everything that it once held together comes apart at the seams. The end of the world seems close and certain.
Magic was the key. It used to hold this whole world together, permeating everything and everyone. Now in its place is decay, twisting creatures and landscapes beyond recognition.
Even your memories are a risk of decay. If you're not careful, you can literally forget who you are.
Broken Weave is our new post-apocalyptic tragic fantasy role-playing game. We've drawn inspiration for Broken Weave from lots of sources. There's a whole bunch in there, such as Dark Souls, Shadow of the Colossus, and the Dark Tower.
But among all this apocalyptic despair, there's still hope. At its heart, Broken Weave is really about community.
You hear post-apocalyptic and think of a lone hero wandering the wasteland. But in reality, when things get tough, people stick together. They form bonds and communities and try to build a future together.
In Broken Weave, everything revolves around your haven. It's the settlement where your character comes from, where your family and loved ones live, and it's what you fight to protect.
I remember reading in the other article, and we'll scroll down real quick. They say here that Cubicle 7 actually recommends making a haven before building characters because the settlement acts as a character of sorts jointly controlled and managed by players. Each haven has stats and generates resources. Many of the adventures and missions within Broken Weave are designed to benefit the haven, with successful missions providing new resources that can benefit future characters. The game will also include generational play mechanics so that players can see how their characters affect the progress of their haven and impact the creation of future generations. That's interesting, to say the least.
It's the literal center of your world. Even if the lands beyond are strange and alien, you always have a home to come back to.
Building your haven and strengthening your community generates hope, which is the real power in Broken World. Hope can hold back decay to protect your settlement and stabilize the land.
But you
This honestly sounds a lot like, for those of you who've ever played Lord of the Rings online, you had hope versus despair, essentially, where you had, when every time you were involved in something and the doom of Sauron was there and everything else, if you had hope, you could have hope tokens, you could get hope buffs, which would keep your character from suffering a reduction to stats and so on and so forth, or being otherwise less effective in boss fights and combat encounters. So this sounds like something similar to where they did that in Lord of the Rings Online, which is not a tabletop game, it's an MMORPG, but I wanted to mention that for the sake of the video because that's what it sounds like to me.
You can also carry hope with you on your adventures. You can tap into that hope when times are tough, to push beyond your boundaries, do heroic deeds, or even shrug off mortal wounds and cheat death. All because you know that if you fail out here, it means death for everything and everyone you care about.
And when your characters retire, we have a whole system for generational play. You can literally retire your characters and see how your actions and adventures shape what happens to your haven and community over the generations.
Then, if you want, you can make new characters that are descendants of your original heroes, go on whole new adventures, carry on the legacy, and hold out hope of building something lasting.
We're putting our all into
Interesting.
Broken Weave, so make sure you stick around for updates and more behind-the-scenes blogs.
So I mean, it's an interesting concept. I'm not a huge fan of the setting, in the sense that, not their setting in particular. What am I saying? Tragic fantasy. That's the setting that I'm not a huge fan of. But anyway, what's in the book? By the way, that's a personal thing. That's not to mean that this isn't something that you might want to look at. I totally think it's something you should look at. That's why I'm mentioning it here in this video. I'm just saying, for me personally, I've had a hard time getting into those tragic settings in the past because I like more traditional high fantasy stuff like the Dragonlance series. Like that to me has always been a lot of fun. And I just realized this is really funny. You can see some of my hair is like coming out of the back here. I look like a crazy old man now. Woo! Let's keep that look rolling, everybody. Do I cut that out of the video? I don't think I cut that out. I think I leave that for everybody to laugh at. What's in the book? It's a campaign setting for 5th edition. It includes everything you need to dive into the Broken World. The book includes 5 new classes, the Hope and Decay mechanics system, the Broken World, of course. It says an ever-changing world where magic is broken and god corpses litter the land. New mechanics for founding, growing, and protecting your community over generations for the Haven, and then decayed monsters, as well as mechanics for converting any 5th edition monsters to use in your Broken Weave campaign, and then mechanics for harvesting monsters, traveling, and even a bespoke trail language to decipher. Very interesting. So you've got the characters, which follow a life path system, it says here, which creates fully realized characters that already have a place in the world, including a family to fight for, experiences to treasure, and homes worth defending. There are 5 brand new classes, including the Sage, the Warden, the Maker, the Seeker, and the Speaker. Very interesting. The Hope and Decay system, and it talks here about decay eats at your memories and corrupts your flesh and spirit, gradually turning you into a monster. Each lineage i.e., humans, dwarves, elves, and halflings. Let's just call them races, everybody. Suffer from their own curse. If they are exposed to excessive decay, their curse slowly transforms them into a twisted monster. Humans become an eternally hungry undead. Dwarves become elementals of fire, pain. Elves become stone constructs, and halflings become grotesque oozes. Ew. Okay, a broken world, which is a post-apocalyptic tragic fantasy setting with the corpses of dead gods litter the landscape, and magic has become a corrupting force. Now, I remember the reason I originally reported on this was because Cubicle 7 is not only, and I'm trying to find it on the, I'm trying to find it here on their Kickstarter page, because it's not just a 5th edition setting. It includes their own unique rule set, which I can't remember what it's called now. It's like the C7D20 or something like that. And I'm not seeing it talked about here. Looks like there's cards here as well. You're going to get a deck of cards, shattered mithril dice trays. So you're going to get all these types of rewards that you're familiar with from from other campaigns that you might have contributed to. This is fairly standard, common stuff for all these things. So Uncharted Journeys, you're going to get the PDF. Well, depending on what tier you go at. Almost 2,000 journey encounters across 16 different regions, compatible with Broken Weave and other 5th edition books. That's Enchanted Journeys? Oh, that's our 6th. Okay, that was their previous Kickstarter, so you can add that to your pledge. Cool. All right. Stretch goals include classes, digital wallpapers, custom character sheets, new lineage, digital map markers, and a custom Haven sheet. Okay. We do not charge shipping through Kickstarter. Shipping will then be collected through their website, and they give you a list of estimated costs. Oh, here it is. Here it is. At the very end, they say OGL 1.0 concerns. You can rest assured that we are putting our all into Broken Weave and our plan to support it in the long term. For more information, you can read our announcement on the OGL, our own 5th edition compatible system C7D20, and our future plans for 5th edition compatible content here. And they have a post that you can go read through, but it's essentially blending their unique system with 5th edition now that's out in the wild, and they're creating their own unique series of adventures moving forward, including this one for their upcoming setting called Broken Weave. I think you should check it out. It sounds interesting to me. Obviously, they're going through the Kickstarter now. Did they give a estimated publication date? Hang on, I'm checking here real quick. 20 days to go. Hang on. I think I didn't want it to go all the way back. Hold up a second. All or nothing. Does it give an estimation? It probably does, and I may just be missing it here in my read through because I'm just kind of scanning through this to report on it. Check out the fact page real quick. No FAQs yet. So, in any case, if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. I've got links below for those of you who want to read more at your discretion. Let me know in the comment section if you have anything else you want to add to this conversation. Of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. And if you liked what you heard here today and you want to support, start with a membership. We have 3 different tiers here on YouTube. We also do super chats, super stickers, super thanks on all of our videos. And you can head over to our Patreon page if you want to pick up a copy of our tabletop fantasy world along with the book series, point and click adventure game, and more. There's also a Discord. See everybody next time. Until then, happy gaming.